Hello there. Our edition of Culture Mosaic this week is packed with exhilarating news on the cultural and art scene here in Vietnam. First off, we'll venture into learning more about the palm leaf manuscripts of the Khmer ethnic community. Then we'll have a chat with Vietnamese French artist Sandrine Luque to learn more about her project Salon Saigon. After that, for a completely different vibe, we'll dive into exploring cheerleading and how it's being taken up by youths here in the country. So, are you ready for the journey ahead? Let's go! A trip to An Giang province to discover Khmer manuscripts. An adventure to Ho Chi Minh City to meet a Vietnamese French gallerist. And then later on, a twirl and whirl with the country's up-and-coming cheerleaders. Now, in this week's edition of Culture Mosaic, we have a lot of exciting news about the Khmer ethnic community here in the country. Khmer people in Vietnam's southern region celebrated their Chol Chnam Thmay, or New Year celebration, in April every year. And in An Giang province, the Khmer people enjoyed a jubilant celebration, despite many hardships experienced due to natural disasters last year. The Chol Chnam Thmay festival is an important event in the religious life of the Khmer people. It is the time for them to visit temples in order to pray for good health, fortune, and prosperity for the new year. An Giang province has about 217,000 Khmer ethnic people. In 2016, the residents were severely affected by salinization. But thanks to the government's support policies, farmers there have been able to gradually overcome setbacks and enjoyed a warm New Year celebration. Also related now to Khmer culture, the Khmer ethnic people living in the Mekong Delta province of Sóc Trăng Châu Thành district celebrated their traditional Thak Kon festival from the 13th to 15th of April. The centuries-old festival of Thak Kon, which means gong hitting in Khmer ethnic language, is traditionally held in the full moon day of the third month of the lunar year. The festival lasts over 3 days and nights and comprises of several rituals and activities in order to pray for good crops, health, and good luck. The main focus of the festival was a coconut offering ceremony held on the full moon night. The festival attracted about 10,000 visitors this year. Now for news on another ethnic community here in the country. The annual Ponagar Temple Festival opened in Nha Trang City on April 17th to commemorate the goddess Tieni Ana, the holy mother of the Cham ethnic community living in the South Central region. Thousands of pilgrims from other localities including Da Nang, Quang Nam, and Quang Ngai flocked to the opening day. The event featured a lantern releasing ceremony, a ceremony to pray for peace and prosperity for the country, and an offering to the Holy Mother. Performances of folklore art forms such as tuong or classical drama and traditional Cham dances were also staged at the festival in order to honor the spiritual, cultural traditions found in the daily lives of the Cham people of the South Central region. The Hokusai manga is a collection of woodblock sketches by various subjects by Japanese artist Hokusai. The collection is considered the origin of Japan's contemporary manga comics. The Hokusai manga exhibition opened on Tuesday in Hanoi, providing manga lovers with an opportunity to learn more about the history of the Japan's art via the collection.
Hokusai was a Japanese illustrator 200 years ago. His drawing techniques have influenced many modern illustrators in their works. The exhibition displays Hokusai's paintings and contemporary manga's comics so that visitors can absorb the difference between the two and Hokusai's influence.
In recent times, many Vietnamese illustrators have won international prizes. We'd like to introduce the history and development of Japanese manga to more comic lovers in Vietnam.
The exhibition consists of 32 manga panels by Hokusai, introducing his woodblocks prints as well as his image in addition to contemporary manga characters.
Biếm họa Nhật Bản rất nổi tiếng và tôi đã sang Nhật nhiều lần thì tôi biết là người Nhật họ ham thích cái biếm họa Nhật Bản. Họ coi đó là một hình thức giải trí, nhưng giải trí có tính giáo dục. Để chúng ta nên học tập cái phương pháp làm tranh biếm họa phục vụ đời sống.
Mình rất ấn tượng đối với các bản tranh khắc cỗ về cá và đặc biệt là với bức tranh võ sĩ chế ngự cá voi thể hiện cái tinh thần chế ngự thiên nhiên, chế ngự biển cả. Mình rất ấn tượng với bức tranh đó. Mình cảm thấy các tác phẩm hiện đại có nét tính kế thừa của tranh truyền thống, điều nó rất đáng quý.
The exhibition lasts until May the 2nd at Vietnam Fine Arts Museum and will open in Ho Chi Minh City from May the 12th to May 26th.
The Chang'an Festival took place in Ninh Bình Province from the 13th to 15th of April. During the festival, a series of unique cultural activities, including a water procession, was held. And now around 1,000 boats were ready to take visitors to cross through the World Heritage Site of Chang'an in order to enjoy folk song performances from all around the country, including pen singing, swan singing, and Guanhao duet singing. In addition to these activities, the studio where the film Kong Skull Island was shot in Ninh Bình Province also opened to tourists. The tribal village depicted in the movie has been restored. Around 40 rattan tents have also been set up together with long wooden boats. Now, as promised, we have a lot more coming from the Khmer culture in this edition of Culture Mosaic. We learn now about palm leaf manuscript, which is one of the most ancient media for writing for the native people in Southeast Asia. Today, in the southern province of An Giang, some of the rarest Theravada Buddhist texts written in ancient Khmer scripts on palm leaves are still being preserved by the last person in the area to be proficient in the art of making these palm leaf manuscripts, Most Venerable Choti of Soisaw Pagoda. In our culture and lifestyle this week, we'll get a chance to visit Nui To commune in Chi Ton district of An Giang province in order to learn more about this ancient type of handwritten manuscripts.
Built in 1696 on an area of 2 hectares, Soisaw Pagoda in An Giang province is a prime example of Khmer architecture with its typical arched roofs. This place is home to 100 Buddhist palm leaf manuscripts that still remain relatively intact. In ancient times, the Khmer people developed an alphabet before paper had even been invented. Instead, they recorded all Buddhist scriptures on buông leaves to preserve the teachings for posterity. Buông is a type of palm tree that once flourished in today's Chi Ton district. However, the trees no longer grow on this land. Most of the leaves are now imported from Cambodia. Currently in the area, Most Venerable Choti of Soisaw Pagoda is the only one who can read ancient Khmer scripts and knows how to write a palm leaf manuscript.
The Buddha's teachings for monks and lay Buddhists focus on core principles surrounding body, speech and thoughts. People should restrain themselves from harming others, watch their speech and say only nice things, and focus on positive thoughts and good deeds.
Writing on palm leaves is also an art in itself. First, the leaves are carefully selected, smoothed, and then soaked in a special solution to prevent them from wilting or growing mold. The writing here is actually an act of carving. Dekcha, the tool used to write on the leaves, is a pen made of wood with a quill of sharp steel for carving the letters. Prior to carving, the manuscript writer must first prepare a mixture of paraffin oil and ink. The mixture is applied to a set of taut strings on a frame made to fit the leaf surface. Next, the strings are pressed down so that horizontal lines appear on the leaf. And finally, letters are carved from left to right. and from top to bottom. After carving the leaf, the oil and ink mixture is applied to its surface. Later, the ink will soak into the leaf, revealing the script. A set of palm leaf manuscripts like this takes a whole year to complete. Thanks to the historical and cultural values they contain, palm leaf manuscripts have been recognized as a national intangible cultural heritage.
Đây là một cái văn hóa phi vật thể mà nó có giá trị cả về nội dung và kỹ thuật của người Khmer cổ. Chúng tôi cũng đẩy mạnh công tác bảo tồn, nhưng mà nó gặp nhiều cái khó khăn. Cái thứ nhất đó là cái kinh này là cái kinh lá buông, cho nên là cái điều kiện mà giữ gìn hiện nay đó nó còn thô sơ quá, cho nên nó bị mối mọt. Cái thứ hai là trong cái thời gian chiến tranh Pol Pot, chiến tranh biên giới Tây Nam đó, thì nó tàn phá các cái chùa, thì dẫn tới nó tàn phá cái kinh lá buông này. Cái thứ ba đó thì nó là cái người mà biết khắc chữ trên kinh lá buông hiện nay đó chỉ còn biết duy nhất có nó là sư cả Trao Ti. Cho nên vừa qua chúng tôi cũng đã mở một cái lớp cho sư cả Trao Ti truyền dạy lại cho các sư trong chùa. Nhưng mà nó là cái truyền dạy này nó cũng còn rất là hạn chế.
Currently, there are only about 180 sets of Buddhist scriptures written on 900 palm leaf manuscripts left in Anjing province. For the Khmer people, especially the Theravada Buddhists, palm leaf manuscripts are a sacred treasure from ancient times. Therefore, Most Venerable Chao Ti has made it his lifelong mission to pass down the techniques of palm leaf manuscripts as well as the Buddhist teachings written there to the next generation.
I'm learning the ancient Khmer scripts to record and understand Buddhist teachings. As Khmer people, we cannot live without Buddhist scriptures.
Every month, the local Khmer people visit pagodas and bring offerings to pay respect for their ancestors. Time has indeed worn out most of the manuscripts. Much of the ink and letters have faded, but the teachings written there are still present in the daily life of the Khmer, who have managed at least to preserve the spirit of these ancient scriptures.
You're tuning into Culture Mosaic, our weekly journal featuring the rich cultural diversity of the nation. We hope to become a bridge that connects artists and their work to our viewers out there. So do join us on this journey through various culture scenes in Vietnam, as we have a lot more coming up in this week's installment for you in just a moment. Vietnamese people, like many others around the world, take great interest in art. However, they often find that there aren't enough spaces to truly enjoy the arts. Vietnamese-French artist Sandrine Luque, along with her friends, have just launched a project called Salon Saigon, which aims to give art lovers a space to meet artists and listen to stories about Vietnamese art. As Sandrine says, the project will promote art of all types to the local community, from paintings and drawings to dancing and singing. We had a chance to meet Sandrine at her art space in order to learn more about Salon Saigon and the emerging art scene here in the country. We'll have a listen in this week's edition of On the Mic.
Abstract paintings, a big seal stamp, an abnormal installation on stage. It's easy to feel lost in a modern art space like this. So how about being joined by an artist to discuss these works with her? This way can be fun and more interesting.
So there is two dancers, the choreographer herself, Emily Navarra, and then
she's French.
She's from US.
From the US.
And then his artist name is Scarlett. Is a Vietnamese dancer. They touch the mannequin. They interact with the mannequin. They create the
different
music.
sound.
Yes.
Music.
So they create the sound.
And with her latest project, Salon Saigon, Vietnamese-French artist Phong Linh Luque hopes to offer art lovers in Vietnam the experience of having an art friend.
Hello, Phong Linh Luque, and thank you very much for joining us today. First of all, can you introduce to us a little bit about this space? And it is also your newest project, Salon Saigon, right?
Salon Saigon, it's a new project. We opened this place a few months ago in December, and here we want to put together contemporary creation, contemporary art, and Vietnamese culture. So we have a lot of activities. Downstairs we have concerts, talks, dance. It's always in a kind of private setting.
How is it working in a space that is a rich part of Vietnamese history?
And this house used to belong to Ambassador Henry Cabot Lodge Jr. during the Vietnam War. And yeah, I like it because it's you are in the center of the city, but at the same time it's quiet, and you feel like sometimes you don't know at which period you are. Is it 2017 or I don't know, way before?
Salon Saigon is a space dedicated to contemporary art and Vietnamese culture. Works representing traditional Vietnamese culture like these statues or Gió paintings are combined with modern art installations. That's why the space attracts not only local audiences but also foreigners visiting the country for the first time. This man said he finds something both familiar and strange here.
I think it's going to be great here. It's the combination of different possibilities for performance, for new artists, for any kind of cultural expression. It's wonderful, and that's what culture needs and wants. That is cross-fertilization of different forms of art. It can be paintings, can be fashion even, can be dance, can be music. So I think if that's going to flourish here, that's going to be wonderful. And of course it's an iconic place also, I think, for Saigon and for the rest of Vietnam. So wonderful.
What do you hope to contribute to the art scene in Vietnam through this project?
I hope we can offer a new place, in fact, for artists to meet, also to discuss and create new projects together. What I am interested in is also to create meetings, collaboration. For example, currently we have a collaboration between a sound artist, musician, choreographer, a dancer, performer, and a fashion designer. So it's very interesting to see how these people who are in different creative fields will work together to create one piece.
How has Ho Chi Minh City provided you with settings for some unexpected inspiration?
I like Ho Chi Minh City. It's very inspiring for me because there is a lot of things to see, a lot of activities. So when you go in the street, you are always surprised by something. It can be a discussion, it can be, I don't know, two people meeting and something very strange happen, from my point of view, because I'm not from here. For example, there is one place I really love. It's around Calmette Street. There is so many things they sell. They sell materials, antiques, and sometimes you are here and you see some things. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is made for. When I see this kind of objects or products, my imagination starts to run. When you don't understand something, you can imagine anything.
Can you tell us a little bit about your technique and style as an artist?
I do a lot of drawing and watercolor painting. It is what I do the more often in my studio. But then when I plan to do an exhibition, I will see the work in 3D and in a larger scale. So then it becomes sculpture or installation or a mix with video and sculpture. I do a lot of research about belief, religion, and I'm very interested in similarities between different religions and between different beliefs from two parts of the world or two different periods.
Born in France to parents of Vietnamese descent, Phong Trinh Luque dreamed of discovering Vietnam since she was small. Sandrine came to the country in around 2006 with ambitions to open a contemporary art center. Today, she is most known for her watercolor drawings, which are popular among art collectors as well as enthusiasts.
What were some of your experiences when you first came here as an artist and built your career here?
At the beginning, I was more like a storyteller and drawing and doing exhibition and telling stories in a way. And then I wanted to become more abstract, I would say. Not abstract like that, but always with figure. I didn't want people to have a very clear story when I was showing them the artwork. Something more like a feeling I wanted to create. From that, I started to draw, for example, less and less things. On a drawing, I had only one element or very few lines. And now I'm coming back to something more dense, with more elements, but where different stories can imbricate, can be together, and then the viewer can pick up what he wants and can understand it as he wants also.
Now let's travel back in time. You were born and raised in France. Why did you move to Vietnam?
The first time I moved to Vietnam, it was just for holidays with my mother. It was the first time she was coming back after 20 years or so. I really liked it, but I felt a little bit frustrated because I did the tourist tour. I really wanted to know more. For me, it was not the real Vietnam. So then I decided to come back. I was a student at the Fine Art University in France, and I came back for 1 year at the Fine Art University in Saigon. And I met a lot of art students. Some of them are still very good friends now. So I spent 1 year. It was in 1997. Then I came back to France 11 years ago with my boyfriend. We decided to leave France and go try something somewhere else. I knew some people in Vietnam, and because we were really attracted by Asia, we decided to come to Vietnam.
Well, thank you very much, Song Kin, for your time.
Thank you.
In many countries around the world, such as the United States, cheerleading is an indispensable part of any sports match, such as football or basketball. It has become a sport that is loved by many people. In Vietnam, cheerleading is receiving a lot of attention from young people and attracted the participation of many youths. We'll learn more about cheerleading in today's segment of Connecting Cultures.
Started in the US in 1923, the roots of cheerleading are closely tied to American football. Apart from professional cheerleading squad, today most US middle schools, high schools and universities have cheerleading squads. Cheerleading squads perform at their school, as well as compete at the local, regional, and national levels. This American sport has recently entered Vietnam, attracting the interest of Vietnamese students. Like any cheerleading squad, Youthful, colorful uniforms, pom-poms and ribbons are distinctive features. The Rainbow cheerleading squad is no exception. Started in 2011 at the University of Social Science and Humanities, Vietnam National University in Hanoi, with only a handful of students. After 6 years together, the team now has 60 active members who regularly practice, perform and compete. In a cheerleading routine, what impresses the audience most are the stunts. The pyramid stunts includes a flyer, the one at the top, back sporters who give back support, and the base who carry the flyer. But this is just cheerleading basics. Other stunts range from preps, tight stands, and extensions to more difficult one-legged stunts. To perform such techniques, the cheerleaders of Rainbow practice hard after school, learning and improving their new skills. But injuries are unavoidable.
Đây là một bộ môn có một chút mạo hiểm, nhưng mà sau khi mà luyện tập quen rồi thì em thấy khá là thú vị và nó mang đến rất là nhiều cảm xúc cho mình. Bởi vì là flyer nên là việc mình phải lên tháp thì là ban đầu thì là vấn đề, và khi mà đã quen với kỹ thuật cơ bản rồi thì mình sẽ phải nâng độ khó lên ạ. Thì mỗi lần nâng độ khó thì mình khi mà chưa quen thì sẽ phải gặp một số chấn thương. Em chấn thương nhẹ nhất là bong gân.
Though cheerleaders are typically thought of as girls, male athletes are joining the sports every day.
Sau khi tham gia bộ môn cheerleading thì mình cảm thấy rất là đúng đắn khi mà mình quyết định tham gia ngày ấy. Thì, bởi vì là mình cảm thấy là sức khỏe mình được tăng lên, khỏe khoắn hơn và năng động hơn trong cuộc sống cũng như là học tập. Mới đầu mình không giỏi cái việc nhảy nhót lắm, nhảy múa cho lắm. Nhưng mà dần dần sau đấy thì mình đã khắc phục được và cảm thấy là nó cũng rất là tốt cho sức khỏe, chứ nó không phải là dành riêng cho con gái mà nó có cả những cái cho con trai để làm. Nó như là một gia đình thứ hai của mình.
As the sport becomes more popular in Vietnam, cheerleading sport can be seen at all sorts of events and festivals throughout the country. But what's the secret behind a good cheerleading routine?
Bộ môn cheerleading thì nó đề cao tính tập thể. Đó là có nghĩa là tiêu chí cao nhất, có nghĩa là tinh thần đoàn kết. Có nghĩa là bộ môn này một người sẽ không thể làm được gì nếu mà không có những đồng đội của mình. Tất cả sẽ phải cùng nhau tập luyện, cùng nhau chia sẻ. Khi mà đã có được cái sức mạnh tinh thần ấy, thì tất cả mọi thứ đều có thể làm được.
Cheerleading is a sport that requires team spirit. Cheerleading squads often hold events, games and activities to strengthen bonds and build trust among members. It can be small games after the practice, or a group leisure trip. What cheerleaders say they've achieved most is not a top prize or even the joy of performing. Rather, it's the friendship they share that has made the youth more beautiful.
And that also wraps up the edition of Culture Mosaic for this week. If you would like to provide any feedback or comment on anything you've seen here on our show, please feel free to write to us at vtvinternational@vtv.vn and make sure to include both your name and address. You can also log on to our website at vtv4.vn or our YouTube channel at VTV4 Go for more of our program. Don't forget to join us next week for another episode of Culture Mosaic. Until then, goodbye for now.